Hello everybody, today we're going to be taking a look at the Oni paint kit that I got for free during Free RPG Day. This includes some brushes, a water pot, and a pretty large assortment of Vallejo paints in the little plastic painting things. And of course a miniature. In this kit, it's the Oni miniature, which is not a bad sculpt at all, and it's a fun monster to have for your collection. So yeah, there we have all the colors and the blister pack, which can be used as a palette as you're painting, etc., etc. Lovely packaging, nothing wrong with this here. And there's a little QR code to go directly to the painting instructions. More on that in the future. But yeah, as with most PVC miniatures, sometimes you get some bendy weapons. And you know what? That's not something WizKids specifically deals with. That's something you find with all miniatures. And here I am taking a look at all the different paint packets and then the brushes. The size of the brushes will come in later. Obviously, these are fine brushes to be using for fine detail or character detail on a miniature. Maybe not the greatest for the instructions that are in the QR code. Here I am bending the weapon back with hot water. I don't think I did a perfect job on this one. You really have to let it sit in the hot water for a very long time before the plastic sort of remembers what it's supposed to look like. And maybe I just didn't let it sit in there long enough. And it wasn't perfect, but you can tell it's way better than the bendy weapon that originally got to. So, I'm going to show you the painting process as I've tried to follow the instructions with nothing but what was in the box. This was a very foolish decision for a number of reasons. Number one, the instructions were clearly for intermediary users who already had a selection of brushes. These sort of kits were sort of made for public events at game stores. So trying to sit alone and paint the little thing with the tiny, tiny brushes, it's not very fun, and you can tell I got very grumpy progressively as I tried to paint this thing with these tiny brushes, which was a very foolish endeavor, and I shouldn't have done it. I have done a paint program with the Owlbear paint kit, and that was a ton of fun. I think that wasn't really a paint kit per se, but that was just a thing where you went to the store and you painted a WizKids Owlbear. And it was a lot of fun. The Reaper Learn to Paint kits are the best choice for a pure beginner because they have the little booklet, you can take your time, etc., etc., etc. I think these kits are more for if you're going into the store or if you're already a somewhat advanced painter who already has a number of high-quality brushes that they can work with. So here's the cut-down painting process where I tried to do everything with the tiny little brushes that were included in this paint set, and yeah, I hope you'll get a kick out of it. Now, the guide is interesting because it makes use of stuff that is not in the kit, which, I think the guide was excellent in other ways, but I think if you're going to do a guide on a beginner set like this, then it should be using the stuff just in the kit and nothing else. I thought that would be a fun thing. So I'm only going to use what was in the kit, which you get 2 paintbrushes. You get an assortment of Vallejo, lovely Vallejo paint. Little paint packet things, obviously. Oh my goodness.
Hey guys, this is Nisa from Den of Imagination. I have a tutorial on basic level for you. It's going now. Agnieszka will guide you through the painting experience. Enjoy.
Paints that we are going to use are I'm going to
dark
use
coat
dark
Prussian blue
color.
Hold up. This is gonna look terrible because it's got a big seam line here that I didn't notice. I gotta clean up this seam line. This is gonna look just awful if I do it as is. Alright, let me know in the chat. Do you think I should do this as is, or do you think I should clean up the seam lines? Popped up. This is actually a first. I usually just don't bother, but the seam lines on this one are so bad, even for beginner. I would suggest that they try to clean it up a little bit. You notice, I noticed it right away when I started painting. The seam lines are just massive on this bad boy, so... Okay, you know what? That's good enough. I'm not gonna... If this is truly the experience of trying to... No, usually I would be watering down my paints with the flow improver, the acrylic flow improver. But we're not doing that now.
Previously paint. If you're going to water order to adjust the steps of our paint.
This is the official video that they have for painting this. So this is actually a pretty fancy way of doing it. So I guess they really want people to learn how to do like the persnickety style stuff. Alright, so we want to paint the base. Oh man, so this is this is like just such a pain with the small brush. Such a pain with a small brush. I didn't realize they would give you such a small brush. I thought they would give you like a detail brush and then just a nice base coating brush, but the multi-use brush that they give you is more like a very small character brush if you were judging it in Army Painter logic. Large brushes make for quicker work. Alright. I mean, the acrylic thinner is like the absolute best. This the Winsor Newton stuff. You use so little of it. Like, I've only had one bottle that somebody gave me as a gift.
We will apply dry brush technique. For this technique, you should also prepare a clean and dry paper towel. Put some of your paint on the palette.
It's going to be taking longer than I thought because I got to let the pants fully dry, and I did kind of like a half-assed two-coat on them. I might have to paint another miniature while I'm painting this one to allow this to dry. Bowflex.
Dip the tip of your
Intensity.
brush in the paint and then wipe it out on the paper towel.
Bones only. Alright, so D8's looking pretty good. Yeah, well, whatever. Back to the original. Yeah, this multi-purpose brush does not work great on This is pretty interesting that they're doing such like really like kind of complex techniques here. Alright. Dry brush red, violet red. This is like
use the tip to draw the lines in the folds of the skirt.
These instructions are almost goddamn impossible to do with the brush that they give you. That's all there is to it. We gotta let that completely frickin' dry before we do anything else.
Add more water to your paint. The same with the tip. If the tip starts to split and you do not have a clean line, dip your brush in the water.
Second step glaze, oh my god.
The water holding by bristles may flow down the model.
This is a pain in the ass.
With the thinner layers, we want ours.
Like, this is goddamn miserable to do with one brush. This is the dumbest experiment I've ever done. Alright, glazing.
Now take
Sir Bottom Text, how's it going? It's slow. It's tiny. I've made the dumb idea of trying to do this with the instructions with the stupid brushes that they include, which is very difficult. The Reaper paint kits came with decent-sized brushes. These are like tiny, tiny brushes. It's pretty crazy. I believe the Reaper paint kit comes with just the regular standard. I think it comes with something like this, which is just the base coating hobby brush, which is like, this is a sizable enough thing to do most miniatures. The paint kit from WizKids came with like 2 tiny little brushes, which would be the equivalent of like a detailed brush and stuff. The multi-purpose brush is not a multi-purpose brush, so let me tell you.
Surface if touched with bare hands. Give this layer time to get it dry.
Oh, you're supposed to paint the toe nails? Oh, hell no, bro. How are you supposed to do that? You're supposed to paint the goddamn toenails of this thing, man.
And both eyes and the mouth. Now take sun yellow and add it on the eyes and teeth. Carefully paint the pupils on the eyes.
Okay, paint pupils on the eyes. Yeah, no, that's not gonna happen with these brushes. Nah, that's gonna be good enough, man. Alright. Oof, that's
And
tough.
the oni is ready.
That's a tough call, dude. Alright. Que legal! Oi do Brasil. Alright then. Yep. So that pretty much ends this little experiment, I think. That's it then. Well, I mean, honestly, this would be much easier to paint if I had painted it with other brushes, but yeah, certainly not that bad. Alright, I'm done. Alright, peace out. So there you have it, an hour and 45 minutes to paint this Oni up, and you know what? The Reaper Oni that you see right next to it took about, like, literally 20 minutes to paint. And, yeah. I didn't do a very good job on this. I think most of that was my fault. Had I used my full brushes and other stuff that I had, I think this would have looked much better. But I didn't. For whatever reason, I had it in my head, I'm going to only use the stuff that was in the box. And that was a mistake for this kit. I think other kits, like the Reaper Learn to Paint kits, I think I was able to do that. I'll link that video below. With this kit, you'll have a much better time if you just use extra brushes to do all the different steps. And if you actually go to a painting event at a store and do it with a group of people, you'll have much more fun. Painting alone, like I did in my room with just the box, yeah, you're not gonna have the most optimum time with this kit. But I should have known that, and well, now you know it too. So let me know what you think in the comments below.